Hi, and you're welcome. We are going to be recording mileage expenses through Zoho Books using the web application, which is what we are currently looking at. So the first thing we have to go to purchases and click on expenses. Now, in order for you to, if this is your first, you click on the new button. If it's the first time you are creating, you are recording a mileage from this mileage, record mileage, you can go to settings. It will show you to set up your mileage preference. But since if this is not your first time, this is where to take you to straight. So let's see the settings. So let's say you have that settings going. Go to settings. See now preferences, then vehicle. Now for preferences, now associating employees to expense, you can either select or deselect. But the reason why you're selecting is because you want to record this mileage expenses in order to reimburse your employee for using their private vehicle for your business purposes. So you have to reimburse them. So you have to associate these employees to the expenses. Now the default mileage category, which is the expense account, is already selected as fuel mileage expenses. Now your default units can be in kilometer or in mile. So we're going to go with kilometer. Now for your start date, you can decide to leave this date empty. So let's say I delete this and I leave it empty like this, and I say I put 200 per kilometer. Now what this means is that it's going to take effect to any transaction date as far as mileage is concerned. So let's say today is on the 8th of July and I decide to enter a transaction for mileage expenses for June last month, May last 2 months. This 200 naira per kilometer is going to also take effect. But I can decide that I want to enter the date differently. So I can decide that okay, from today, or I can select, let's say, 1st of June 2025. As at 1st of June 2025, it is 200. Then, as at 1st of July 2025, it is, let's say, 250. Maybe there was a review, or based on this is just random number actually, right? Depend on your company policy. It might be in dollar, it might be in naira, it might be in kobo or cent, depend on the IRS policy about mileage, right? Now you can decide to put this to this way. So this is 1st of June. So anything from June 1st down. Then it means if you enter any transaction for recording mileage expense before 1st of June, most likely it's not going to take record of that. But had it been it is left empty, this 200 is going to take effect before this 1st of July. Okay, so let's say we leave this empty. Okay, so let's have this way, and then click on, so you can add as many mileage rates as you like. So go back and then go to record mileage. Now if you have employee, you select the employee. For now we don't have an employee, so let's manage employee who are Ibrahim. So the email address, let me just use my email address, then the name Ibrahim. So click on save. Ibrahim details have been saved successfully. Now mileage we want to calculate using either distance traveled or odometer. So if it is distance traveled, how many kilometer was covered, or how many miles if you are using miles. So let's just say 100 kilometer was covered. Automatically you can see now that the rate has changed to 250, right? Because we are using 8th of July. So let's try something and see. What if we are using before July? So let's say 1st of June. What do you just see happen? It has changed to 200, just like we rightly said when we are setting the mileage expense preferences. Okay, so which is also correct. Now, is your money expense is it tax inclusive or tax exclusive? You can decide to select from Now we are paying through employee reimbursement because we need an account that will be credited and an account that will also be debited. Now what this will do is that it's going to uh, debit it's going to credit the employee reimbursement as other current liability because you need to pay that amount, which is correct. So if you recognize that, then it would credit the debit the mileage expense category that was selected while setting the mileage expense preference. Okay, so this is correct, right? But even it is tax exclusive, it means we would need to select a tax, maybe 7.5% as a tax exclusive, inclusive. Okay, this will bring out the money from this 200, I hope. Then this is adding this 200,000 with 1.5. So whichever way it can still work out, so that you can uh, accurately record your tax expense. Now the vendor, the company you are paying to in respect to this. So let's just say transport company. So you can just type in name as a transport company. Now this is important if you want to be able to track your transaction that you've had with a particular vendor. It's always advisable. There are other information you can fill in, but for the sake of this, we're just going to enter the name alone and move ahead. If you have any reference, maybe a number reference number you enter, you have any notes, then if you are doing this on behalf of a particular customer that you also want to bill, right? If you want it to be billable upon a particular customer, you can also add the customer, let's say to Abdul. Then you click on billable. I want it to be billable to Abdul. Abdul, how many percent? Are you saying 100%, 50%, or 70%? So let's just say 90%, so that we can just take care of the 10%, right? All these can also come out. Then you can go ahead and click save. Save and new if you still want to remain here. So I'm going to click on save or Alt S from your keyboard. So the expense has been recorded. Now you can see from here, now we have fuel and mileage expense of 21,000. Remember, it was exclusive, so that's why the 7.5% was added to the 20,000 that was showing before. But if it was inclusive, we are still going to be left with the 20,000, but then the tax element is going to be subtracted for, so it's going to be 20,000 minus the tax element, right? So now you have the employee Ibrahim 100 kilometer. You pay through employee reimbursable. Now it's already showing a liability. You can see from here. Good. So you can see your journal whereby your tax payable is debited, your fuel mileage expense 20,000, then your employee reimbursement has 21,500, right? Now if you go to the report, so let's quickly go to report and see how the books looks like. So let's go to profit and loss, and we are going to make sure this is on today. So let's just use custom. So custom, then all can just select all. If you have all, okay. So custom, let's select between July, June, and August. Okay, it's fine. Anytime in August is. So now the report is out. You see from below, fuel mileage expense of 20,000 has been incurred, right? So the other report that you would love to see is where you go to balance sheet. So let's see if we are owing any under current liability. So we're going to liability. So we have employee reimbursement. We're supposed to reimburse employee for 20,000, 21,500, but there is a negative of 1.5 here, which is 20,000. We're going to reimburse uh, our employee 21,500. You can see the tax payable also is there showing negative 15.